The fiscal deficit is increasing staggeringly. The current account deficit is staggeringly increasing. The fundamentals of the economy is being crumbled. And then the election year is nearing. And what does the Congress government do? It thinks of two ingenious ideas. Two ideas which is surely targeted at coming back to power, but two ideas which will as surely take this country to ruin. They think of providing 67% of this country's population free food grain through the food security bill. They also come up with this ingenious idea of direct cash transfers, which is nothing but bribing the voters to come and vote for the party and bribing them from the money of this government. And this country's young people are thinking, are the people who are actually ruling this country, who should be deciding and thinking about my future, are they really concerned about my future? The past year or so ago, Infosys Narayan Murthy gave a statement saying that 70% of engineering graduates who pass out of these countries' engineering colleges are unemployable. Because the industries, the skills that the industry demands and the colleges that are providing do not match. The past 10 years, unemployment has increased triple-fold. If you look at the large demographic dividend that this country's romantic economists speak of, that this country's strength today is this strong demographic dividend. This strong demographic dividend will become a very big demographic disaster if this country's young people are not equipped with the right kind of skills. And all of this is happening in a 21st century globalized world when competition is not between Mumbai and Bangalore, but competition is between Washington and Mumbai. It's between Tokyo and Bangalore. The government said we are going to give right to education to everybody in this country. The founding fathers of this country had enshrined in the Constitution's directive principles of state policy that 10 years after independence, this country's government will try to bring about universal literacy in the country and ensure free and compulsory education for all children between the age of 6 and 14 years. Within 10 years, this was the initial plan. 65 years after independence and 65 years after making this solemn promise in the Constitution, we see that 4 out of 10 people in this country still do not have proper literacy. And then the Congress party brings about a legislation called the Right to Education Act, which in essence says that all this while for the past 65 years, we as a government have failed to give enough quality education through our government schools. Therefore, we are going to snatch whatever good the private schools in this country have done. In a time when we have to be thinking of providing right to quality education, the UPA government in this country is only thinking of old-fashioned legislation to give a right to education, which in essence is going to mar the complete private education system in this country. The questions that we should ask before the Congress party today is that 65 years after independence, why is it that 67% of the country's population, by your own admission, needs to be given free food? Why have you brought this country to this mess? We need to ask them, why is it that 65 years after ruling this country, such a large population as us, such large number of people like us find it hard to manage 2 square meals a day? Recently, there was a report by an institution called ASER, We studied the quality of primary education in this country. The report's findings were startling. They said that in any given government school in the country, a student studying in standard 5 does not have the skills to solve a mathematical problem which a second standard kid has to solve. If all of this is on the primary education side of this country, look at what is happening to the higher education scenario. I am sure all of you have recollected recently young medical graduates coming out and protesting on the streets of Delhi, demanding more number of postgraduate seats. 65 years after this country became independent, after we elected our own government, students of this country have to come and protest and fight on the ground for enough number of medical seats. And what does this government do? Lathi charge them and throw water cannons against them. The country's young people are today asking Sonia Gandhi and Manmohan Singh, we do not trust you. We do not have faith in your leadership. It's time you vacate your place and allow a person who has proved his competence in the past 10 years, who has miraculously changed the face of Gujarat, who, when on an average every year 15,000 farmers were committing suicide in the nearby Vidarbha regions of the state, the only state to record double-digit growth in agriculture was Gujarat. The country's young are asking, get away and bring him in. This is the clear-cut message.